We're looking at standard time in the light of engineering, or for engineering companies. Certainly a lot of engineering companies do work for clients. In other words, they bill their billable hours to those clients, and so you should, if you're doing that, look into our consulting software videos. So we're not going to cover the same ground of how to bill clients and set up your billing rates and so on. We're going to focus more on projects and engineering projects that you might be involved in. So I'm going to click over here on the Project Tasks tab, where you can see a typical project. What you see here are names of tasks, starting dates, duration, and here is a Gantt chart. And there's a variety of other fields that you can put in this view, but these are the ones I happen to be looking at. The point I wanted to make here is that each one of these tasks has a start and due date associated with them, and so you can schedule out the tasks on a typical project, assign them to engineers, and then those tasks are going to show up over here in the timesheet. If I go over to the timesheet and open up my project, I see my tasks. I can enter into the hours into those tasks in the timesheet, and then the totals will show up at the bottom. Another thing I can do is look at all of the tasks that are going to start within a certain number of days, or are due within a certain number of days, or due any time in the future, or just look at all of the tasks. When I type my hours in, it'll go against the actual work field in the task. And when you're finished, you can actually click this checkbox to mark the task as completed. Another thing you can do with tasks is to open them up and enter in a percentage of warning. This will actually give the engineer a warning when the task is nearly completed. You can also put an error in, let's say 200%. That would stop the engineer from putting any more time in after that. So you can set these numbers to anything you want, and then standard time will enforce those warnings and errors. Within tasks, another thing you might consider using is the forum messages. If I go here to the View menu, choose Columns, you see a series of columns like percent complete, and the starting and finishing dates, status, and various other fields that you can put into this view. I'm going to actually choose the messages because I wanted to take a look at the forum messaging. So I've clicked that, added it to the view, and I click Close. Here you see links that you can create new forum messages by simply typing in a subject and a message and then clicking the post. There are a few here that are already filled out. You see some ongoing communication between engineers, and you can simply use this to communicate with other engineers on the team. One of the other things that we would want to look at as it relates to the starting and finishing dates is resource allocation. If I go to the View menu, choose Project Resource Allocation, we certainly have other videos on this topic as well, so you want to go through that, but that basically allows you to see a chart of when each person is allocated to work or when they are available. So that's something that's valuable, and it basically takes those starting and finishing dates from the tasks to build this chart to see when a person is available to take on new work. Another thing I can do here is go to the little wrench icon, pick a skill, and then see when the people that have that skill are available to work. Another way to do that, go to the Tools menu and choose Projects, and then right click on your project and choose Assign Users by Skill. I'll pick that same skill, and you see all of the engineers that have that skill, and then you see out over the next 3 months what their availability is. In other words, how many hours they have available. In this case, Cuz and Dan are already assigned to this project, but if they weren't, you could add them here and put them onto your project. So The whole point of this, of course, is to use the timesheet so that you collect your hours against tasks and then meet your milestones and deliverables, your ship dates, and improve your task scheduling, your task durations, and start and finish dates, and just improve projects in general.